Hello everybody, welcome to another Oscar predicting video. Today I will be looking at the category of Best Costume Design, and I gotta say, we're starting to get to the point now where the categories are getting to be a bit tricky to figure out. Before, there was a pretty obvious contender, and now it's starting to be kind of, you gotta think about it for a little while, and there is reasonable room for uh, upsets. So even though I think there's definitely a front runner in this category, I think the number two in this race is very much in the race. So you'll know what I mean when we get to it, but for now, here we go. Best costume design. Fifth most likely to win is Pinocchio. Costume design by Massimo Cantini Parini. This is his first nomination. He has previously worked on such films as Dogma and Brothers Grimm. Um, and this is an interesting nomination. It was kind of an out of nowhere nomination. A lot of people did not have him anywhere near their radar. I believe I had him on like number 16 in my predictions, but that wasn't in the top 10 or top 5. So it's, having not seen the film, I'm going to try to get to it. But just from what I've seen from the trailers and the pictures, it's definitely very impressive work. It's stylized work, but it fits the world of the movie, and it feels old fashioned, like, but also timeless. It works. It really does work for what it's trying to do. And the fact that the film got this extra nomination for costume design means that the film has support, which could really help it out in best makeup. With all that being said, how many people have actually seen this film? And of the ones who have, how many are willing to vote for it over the stiff competition? I think it will get votes, but it's not. It's weird. It's not the film. It kind of came out of nowhere as a nomination, so while it definitely does have support, I don't think it has quite enough support to overcome the other four nominees. Fourth most likely to win is Mulan. Costume designer Bina Daigler, who previously worked on Vulva at Mrs. America. This is her first nomination. And the work is impressive, but at the same time, I've heard people who are professionals of this kind of stuff say that the costume design is not fitting of the era in China in that time, and that it's really just meant to look pretty and not be an accurate representation. And it is a Disney fairy tale, so that is to be expected to a certain extent, but I think there's also been a lot of controversy around the film itself and the places where they filmed. Plus, the film itself came out early in the year. The fact that it is a Disney fairy tale means it did get a wide release, and a lot of people did see it, so we can confirm that. Plus, the extra nomination that this has in visual effects means that the film is well seen. But I don't think it's going to win. I think it was lucky to get the nomination, but people don't want to actually vote for this film to win in a category. It didn't win Best Stunt Ensemble at SAG, and that should have been something it walked away with. So this, I think people just don't like the movie that much, and in a wider category like this, with the top three I'm gonna list, I can't see enough people voting for it to be the winner. Third most likely to win is Mank. Costume designer Trish Somerville. This is also her first nomination, and she's worked with David Fincher before on things like Girl with a Dragon Tattoo and Gone Girl, and she was a costume designer on a film that I think should have been nominated in this category, which is The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. But putting that aside for now, the work on Mank is really good. It is more subtle. A lot of it is just the suits, but we see from the costumes worn by Amanda Seyfried's character that there is some level of flashiness to it and some level of creativity in it. Plus, it's recreating period outfits, period costumes. It it really is an impressive job, and it makes sense that it got the nomination. But as I've said in other categories now, even though Mank got a lot of nominations, the film as a film is quickly losing support, and I don't know how much support it could have to actually win in these categories. Um, Plus, I think when you look at the top two, that's very flashy costume design, And so while the costume design in this is certainly worthy of the nomination, I do find it very difficult to believe that it's going to win. It hasn't really won anything major going into this. Mank is pretty much just won in production design and not really anywhere else building up to this. So, very good work, earned a nomination, not going to go any further than that. Second most likely to win is Emma. Oh boy, now this one is definitely in contention to win. This movie came out early in the year, just as the pandemic was starting, and so, and it's a comedy, so people who really didn't have anything else to watch probably turned it on. I know I saw it early in the year, and as I was watching it, I'm like, oh, this is going to contend for costume design at the end of the year, and it is. It's in the top two. Costume designer Alexandra Byrne. This is her sixth nomination. She previously won for Elizabeth the Golden Age. So there's a lot of prestige here, and those same costume professionals that I was telling you about earlier, they all agree that Emma is really historically accurate and it looks really good. There's a lot of varied costumes in this film that all look fantastic, so I would not be surprised if this won. The film is not really a Best Picture contender and hasn't really been anywhere near Best Picture, but a lot of the time they do like to give costume design to a movie that's not anywhere near the Best Picture race. Look at something like Elizabeth the Golden Age, which Alexandra Byrne won for before, or The Duchess, or The Young Victoria, like even The Great Gatsby. Like, it does happen, and people do like the movie and remember the movie, and it completely makes sense as a winner in this category. But with that being said, I'm not actually going to predict it, and I wish that I could. I wish that I could, but the film that I'm going to be predicting instead, number one most likely to win, is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. So, costume designer Anne Roth, this is her fifth nomination. She has one win for The English Patient. The costumes in this film are certainly very noticeable, at least on Viola Davis's character. Viola Davis has a couple of outfits that she wears in this film, and then we see some respectable outfits worn by the rest of the cast and the male ensemble. Very good costumes. They don't stand out as much as Emma, and I was going to predict Emma, especially seeing how Ma Rainey is now not a Best Picture nominee, and we don't know how many awards it can win on the night. But the fact that this has won all the big awards going into it, this has won BAFTA, this has won the Costume Designers Guild, this has won Critics' Choice. Clearly, this is the frontrunner, whether it's the most deserving film or not. And Emma is right there, but if Emma had won anything in the build up to this, anything at all, then I would have considered it a strong contender. And it still is a strong contender, but it's not as strong as it would have been. It's not the front runner. I want to predict Emma, but I don't really have the guilds to do it. I need at least one guild to be able to go with it. And Emma could still shock because it is the type of film that wins, but at this point, Ma Rainey is the film that has the guild support and is the more widely seen and beloved film. I wouldn't be shocked to see Emma pull off an upset, but at this point, the smart money is to go with Ma Rainey. The smart bet, rather. I said that wrong. But anyway, Ma Rainey's my prediction. Thank you very much for watching, and tune in tomorrow where I will be talking about the category of Best Documentary Short. See you then.